Today I am making the Apple Crate box card. So the Apple Crate box card is quite easy to make. It has wood grain on the crate, and the wood grain pattern that I used is from Recollections from Michaels, and this one on the SVG Cuts files that I received when I bought the card or the set. They have on their image they have the wood grain going up and down instead of this way. Last year and the year before that, I put wood grain going this way, and I had bought wood grain paper that had the actual wood grains embossed into it, and so this year, because I can't find those anymore, Michaels hasn't sold them for quite a while, and the last time I bought them, I should have stocked up, but I wasn't thinking about it. So when I was looking at the image on SVG Cuts files, it showed the wood grain going this way. So I actually bought a set of paper from Michaels that has the fake wood grain image, and this is what it looks like. And so I did it the way SVG Cuts did it, but with a different color of wood, because this is the only thing I could find. So then there's this graphic right here, which is SVG Cut, or which is Design Bundles. The graphic on the back, which is also design, they're all from Design Bundles except for the wood. So then there's this graphic. The SVG Cuts used a polka dot on this side, so that inspired me to use this polka dot. But their polka dots were a lot bigger, so there were very few polka dots. But I thought this was nice looking, and I thought it was good with the red because apples. And then the sign has wood grain behind the black, and then I used vinyl for the word thankful, and I used that for two reasons. One, because it's very hard to line up letters, and if you're using vinyl, it's so much easier because you just put the transfer tape over it and then transfer it over, and then it's done. So something like this, it's easier for me to do that. And some of the other cards that I have for Christmas, I'll have to do letters like this, but it's much easier to line it up. So for this one, I'm just using vinyl. So, and then of course we have the button from designbundles.net. So, okay, so let's get started making this card. So these are the tools that I'm going to be working with. I have my Elmer's Craft Bond Tacky Glue, and it's very thick, and it insists on moving that way for some reason. And then I have my Zots for the button. Here's my button. And then I have my double stick tape for the envelope and the scissors. And then this one I'm actually not going to use, but I had to use it for the vinyl that for the word thank you. I mean thankful, that's going to go on to the banner, I guess. So let me get my box card pieces ready. Okay, so here are all of my pieces that I have to put together. I have the box, the base, which is the box, and then I have the layer that goes in the back, the layer that goes in the front, and this layer that's going to get stuck to the very front. So I'm going to separate these by layers that I'm going to start gluing together first. So for the purposes of time, and also because the only way that I could get these on so that they're in the correct order is to put these on first. I did this on both pieces because once I take them off the mat, they can easily get confused, and so I would pull them off the mat one layer at a time and glue them glue them one layer at a time just so that they're in the right pattern. So I already glued these on. So, and there are a couple of things that I've already glued together. Like for the example, the apple, the stems I've already glued on. I mean, what is this? The stem and the leaf. I've already glued these on. I've already done the inking. And this apple right here is glued onto there. And I also, I don't know if you can see this, but I have embossed it with the fabric embossing folder. So this piece is already done. And I did the green leaves and stems first because it was just going to take too much time. And I'm sure that if you're figuring out how to put these on, you'll know how to do it. It's not that hard. And this glue is so thick, I have to give it a second to come out before I start squeezing. And I think this one is dried up in here. So I have to take the thing off and find out. This is the thing that I don't really care for with this type of the Elmer's bottles, is that they dry up so fast and so easily. But I'm so used to having this kind of a lid on the school glue bottles. And I was going to put this glue in my Bearly Art Glue tube, but I figured this glue is so thick that I'm afraid that it's never going to come out. So instead of, wasting a little bit of glue that might stay inside the bottle and I won't be able to get it out, I'll just keep it in the bottle that's in. And this glue is easier to, if I put this down and it's not right, I can, push it around, and it takes a few more seconds to dry up. So it gives me time to readjust everything. And if I lay it on its side, it will stay in the lid. And I don't want to get it too close to the edge. And see, with these wood grain pieces, I actually you have to be careful with this glue, because I was using it and I put the wood grain pieces on and then I set it to the side, and when I went to stack up all of the pieces, the wood grain had shifted on one of them and then it dried that way. And see, there's some white on the edge of here, so I can see that, and I can push it down a little, and that gives me a little bit of time to adjust it a little bit. So that piece is ready. I'm going to put this piece together. And I do like the Bearly Art Glue for the reason that it claims that you can, or it doesn't warp the paper, but it does kind of warp it a little bit if you use too much glue. But so far, this Elmer's hasn't. Okay, when I said that I can shift it, this isn't allowing me to shift it. So it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I guess maybe if I use a little more glue, it'll allow me to shift it, but I guess because I didn't use that much, it's not allowing me. What was I saying? Oh, it doesn't warp as bad as the Bearly Art Glue actually did.
But I think that's the reason why is because it's so thick. But I have no idea. I think that the more moisture is in your glue, the less it's going to, or the more it's going to warp the paper. So this just gets put right on top of this wood piece, so it touches the wood. Okay, so see, I can shift it a little. I don't want to, but I'm just showing that I can if I use a little extra glue. And then this piece will go on top of here. And sometimes it's so thick that you have to go slow when you're putting the glue on the paper, because otherwise it won't come out as easily. You just have to center it, make sure it's centered right. Okay, that's that side. Now this side is going to have this piece, and it's going to have like a little border. Oh, I guess this one goes right up against the bottom of that. And since it comes out so thick, the slower I put it on, the thinner bead I get. And I'm squeezing this thing hard too. This is not easy to pump to push the glue out. Yeah, to give me a good border, I have to go right up against the edge of this piece right here. So then these apples are just going to sit right on top of here. I want to just go ahead and put them on now. Ugh, this is so thick. Oh, it's coming out easier now. I guess I shook it up a little and it helped it. I don't know how, but this doesn't have to go on too high, because I want it to be the same level as the layers that's going to go in there. And see this apple piece, it's shifted a little. I put it on exactly the way it's supposed to be, and I guess when I set it down, it moved a little and shifted out of the way. So I'm gonna sneeze. Or not. I don't know. Ew, excuse me. That took a long time to sneeze. The anticipation. And this, I don't have to line it up against anything because this lines up against the wood. And because this is the kind that you have to let dry for as long as you can, because you're able to shift it. I'm afraid to move too much further with this thing without disturbing that piece, but I'm just going to go ahead and fold that over and then just glue this piece together to form the box. And it's also, because it's shiftable for a little bit, it gives me enough leeway so that just in case it's not straightened, then I can move it around. Because sometimes I'll put these together and I didn't it didn't go on straight. So just going to fold it down flat this way, and I'm just going to set this off to the side, let that dry. I'm going to work on this piece with the thankful sign and see what I did when I made this, or when I took it off the vinyl sheet. I used that tool to peel off the background of the letters, and then I had to carefully peel them off, and then I had to put I used contact paper to transfer it from the backing of the vinyl sheet. So I just put the backing of the contact paper sheet on there so that I could transfer it over. So this piece it doesn't matter if it's like this or like this. It's not like it has to be one way or the other, because it's not lining up with anything, so it doesn't matter. All that matters is that it's centered. I don't need this. Oops. So then this is supposed to be like a chalkboard. I could have probably used a little bit of white ink on it to make it look like chalk had been erased, but I didn't with the other ones, so I'm not going to do it with this one. Although that is a good idea for the future. I didn't think about that until just this very minute. See, I'm pressing it down because the other cards that I made 4 more of this, so I have 5 total. The other ones, these edges right here, the top and bottom, curled up, so I'm just making sure that it doesn't curl up. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this on. Okay. And then I'm just going to carefully line it up so it looks good. That's good. And I'm just going to take my scraper just to make sure that it's on there, and then just peel this transfer paper off. It's actually clear contact paper. It works just as well as the transfer paper that they make for vinyl. And that's on there, and I didn't have to stress over the placement of anything. So these pieces just go on here. I'm just going to put the glue on the apples on the back. Now it's coming out normal. It's coming out really good. So I just line them up with these. And I did put the ink around these, but it's kind of hard to tell because the red ink that I used was probably around the same shade as this red, but I just did it just to give it a little more contrast. So this piece is done with the exception of the chipboard. Normally I would use a regular piece like this, but because this sign is going to be a little top heavy, I thought it would be better if I did made a piece of chipboard that went all the way up to make the sign. So I'm just going to put that one upside down. I'm just going to put some glue on this. Not too much. And then just flip it over. And just try to make it, even. And I'm just going to flip it over this way. And before last year when I made these, the glue dried before I could adjust these, and made it look weird. So thankfully this glue allows me to adjust so that it looks even, so that there's no chipboard sticking out on the back. But I like that the chipboard is the same color as this, so if it does stick out a little, you're probably not going to notice. So this piece will go like this in the card. So that piece is on, and it's not going to sag because of the chipboard. Okay, and the this piece, I already put everything together. I just thought it would be easier. I put the leaves on, and then I also put the green apple on this one, so this piece is actually done. The last piece is the first layer that goes in there, or layer number 1. So it's just these 2 apples that's going to go on. And this apple is going to go on in the front, right here, just like this. And then this apple, I'm just going to put the glue on the bottom here. And this one is just going to sit just like this, right in the back. Actually, move it over a little bit. Yeah, like that. And I embossed all of the apples and all of the green the stems and the leaves. I embossed all of those. So, but this I didn't emboss. But this piece I did emboss because it's small enough. I mean, this is big enough that it could have been in, or could have gone into the embossing folder, but it would have gone in so that the texture would have been like this, and that's the reason I didn't do these pieces. So that's these pieces put together, and I'm going to start putting the layers in. And we've got our back layer with the word thankful on it. And then I'm just going to tuck those in and then just hold it so that it those pieces go flat in there, and make sure that they are up high enough like they're supposed to, and so that this is even with this thing. And this side looks like it's already on right. And I'm just going to fold it so that I can push down on it to make sure that it's on there right. Okay. I'm just verifying that it's on right. Then we have this piece that's going on the, oh, I didn't put the chipboard on. That usually helps. So I'm pushing these backwards, even though they're going to be pushed forward or folded forward to go on the inside the card. But I did that because I want this chipboard to go on exactly in the middle. Okay. Now I'll fold these. I've got a little bit of glue on here from the mat. So I'm just going to fold these forward and then put the glue on. And then do the same thing, but in this direction. It's going to be all the way at the top. almost done. The last piece to go on is this one, and I'm just going to put the glue on the front of it, just down the bottom, and then this goes right inside here, just like that. And I'm going to just fold it down so I can press down on it. And the last piece that I put on is the Zot for the button. And the buttons are going to be on the flap instead of in the back. And then when you put these front pieces on, you have to make sure that they're above this piece of wood, or the crate piece. I guess that dried because I didn't see it in time, but it's fine. So that's just going to sit on there with that, and this is how it's going to look when they get their card. And this is how it looks from this angle. And then here's the sides, and here's the back, and I think this is a nice card. Doesn't matter how you fold it when it goes in the envelope. And I want to make sure this isn't, because I got a little bit of glue on that one piece, so I want to make sure that I don't do that again. So I'm just going to flip this over. And on this envelope, this smaller piece is the top flap. There's a little dirt, so I'm just going to make that the inside of the card, or the envelope rather. I don't know where that came from, but you know, things happen. And this glue, the other glue, the Bearly Art glue, I could just put it on and press it down and it was done. But this glue, because it takes longer to dry, it takes a little bit of holding down to make it so that it doesn't go open. And then the last thing is the double stick tape for the flap. And that is the last thing that I have to do with this card. And before I let you go, I want to tell you what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for you, especially if you're still watching. I'm thankful that I have an outlet, that I can show my crafts, and that people want to watch it. And I'm just thankful that I have, even if it's just a few people that actually want to watch my videos. So thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.